US President Joe Biden may talk to the Chinese president this week. Reasons include China's threat to the US House Speaker's planned visit to Taiwan. China has obtained sensitive information inside the Federal Reserve System. It built an informant base and bribed US economists. The Evergrande property giant lost several CEOs and higher executives. They had illegally used almost $2 billion for themselves. Hong Kong civil servants are retiring in record numbers. What are the reasons? The Taiwanese president spoke at a forum this week. She warned about the threats authoritarian countries pose and how the rest of the world can work together for freedom. Finally, Maybelline will close all its physical stores in China. Many companies are leaving China because it is losing investments. Let's get into it. Welcome to Sound of Hope News. My name is Daniela Wolensack, and today is July 27th. US President Joe Biden has publicly stated that he may speak with the Chinese Communist Party leader Xi Jinping this week. Confirmation is still pending. US media reported Biden's COVID symptoms are almost completely eliminated. Former pro-communist Secretary of State Henry Kissinger said that the US government should not engage in endless confrontation with the Chinese Communist Party. They should seek to cooperate. In response, the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Zhao Lijian declared that China appreciates Kissinger's statement. This was at a press conference on July 26th. Zhao also urged the US side to take an objective view of US-China relations. He urged them to evaluate Taiwan-related issues carefully and appropriately, and to find a mutually beneficial and win-win way of working with China. So how will the US deal with China? The threat to Pelosi's Taiwan trip in August has broken down barriers between political parties. According to the Associated Press, supporters of Pelosi's visit to Taiwan include a Republican senator, congressman, at least 2 former Trump administration officials, and the last Republican House Speaker to visit Taiwan. They urge Biden to support the visit. Democratic Representative Brian Fitzpatrick tweeted to Pelosi, "I urge you to show strength and do not cower to the bullying of the Chinese Communist Party. If you cancel this trip, it will show further weakness on the world stage and play into the hands of the CCP. America must stand up to the CCP." Both Democrats and Republicans agree the US should confront the Chinese Communist Party. Beijing has tried to infiltrate the Federal Reserve System. Its goals were to obtain sensitive internal information and build an informant network on the inside. It threatened to imprison a federal economist during a trip to Shanghai unless he agreed to provide non-public economic data, according to a congressional investigation. On Tuesday, July 26th, Republican staff members of the Senate's Committee on Homeland Security and Government Affairs released a new report. It said, since 2013, China has targeted the Federal Reserve System. It has tried to recruit US-based economists through its bribery to get their information. They were offered high-ranking positions at top Chinese universities, paid speaking slots at conferences, and contracts in Chinese talent recruitment agencies. In 2015, the Fed identified 13 persons of interest with ties to China's recruitment effort, which was dubbed the P Network. According to the report, one of the P Network members was detained 4 times. One of the times was on a 2019 trip to Shanghai. His phone's computers and contact information were hacked, and Chinese officials copied contact information of other Federal Reserve officials. The individual later notified the Fed, which then contacted the FBI. Other Fed staffers had close connections to the People's Bank of China, Chinese media outlets, and the Chinese Thousand Talents program, which US intelligence officials say encourages economic espionage. The Senate committee staff criticized the Federal Reserve, accusing them of, quote, lack of internal counterintelligence competency at the Federal Reserve, and for not policing its own employees. In response, Fed Chairman Jerome Powell pushed back against the report. He was alarmed by, quote, strong concerns about assertions and implications in the report. The ranking member on the Senate Committee on Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs, Rob Portman said in a statement, quote, "The risk is clear. I urge the Fed to do more, working with the FBI to counter this threat from one of our foremost foreign adversaries." A group of Evergrande CEOs and other senior executives resigned. They had misappropriated loans worth nearly $2 billion. Evergrande is a property giant in China. The New York Times said the loan payments are the latest setback for Evergrande, as it struggles with a massive $300 billion debt. According to the Evergrande Group, from December 2020 to September 2021, several resigned senior executives pledged nearly $2 billion in 3 certificates of deposit. They transferred the loan from a third-party company account to the Evergrande Group to make up the funds for operation. In addition, the chairman of the board of directors and executive director of Evergrande Property, Zhen Litao, and 2 other directors were also asked to resign due to their involvement in the case. An economist at the Institute of Information and Strategy in Maryland, Li Hengqing, told Sound of Hope, "When there is a loan risk, the investors and shareholders of Evergrande Property become the risk bearers." He says, quote, "This in itself is an illegal act. As a standard practice, it should be decided by the board of directors. If there is a big difference, it should be voted at the general meeting of shareholders." He says there are too many things like this in China. Thus, there is so much chaos in real estate development. Why? When they're short of money, it creates a lot of financial risks. In China, owners of at least 320 unfinished real estate properties have issued notices to stop mortgage. Evergrande has many of these unfinished estates. Evergrande has been unable to pay suppliers and complete work after the Chinese government curbed property companies from borrowing from banks. Huge debt has made Evergrande teeter on the brink of collapse. Masses of Hong Kong civil servants are leaving the city. It's because of too much work, pressure, political factors, and that private markets offer better salaries. According to a report by Ming Pao on July 25th, statistics from the Civil Service Bureau show that in the past financial year, over 10,000 civil servants left, of which almost 4,000 were resignations. This is the highest number of resignations since 1997. 32 people resigned from the government system. This is the most people to resign in the last 5 years. The former secretary of the Security Bureau, Yip Lao-shuk-yi, states that it's because of the political environment faced by administrative officials in recent years. They receive vast pressure from the Legislative Council. The CEO of Excellent Human Resource Management Consultants, Liang Meiyi, said that some private companies also have a higher turnover rate. It's mainly because the wave of people leaving Hong Kong has left a workforce shortage. The Ketagalan Forum 2022 Indo-Pacific Security Dialogue opened on July 26. President Tsai Ing-wen of the Republic of China delivered a pre-recorded video speech for the ceremony. Tsai Ing-wen said that Russia's invasion of Ukraine shows us that authoritarian countries will not hesitate to violate the sovereignty of other countries. The threat to international peace and security is increasing, and we must take concerted measures. The Ketagalan Forum has been co-organized by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of China and Taiwanese think tanks every year since 2017. It conducts discussions between relevant parties on important global and regional security issues. The purpose is to strengthen cooperation and dialogue. This year, in collaboration with the Cross-Strait Exchange Vision Foundation, the event was held at the Grand Hyatt Taipei City. The forum invited about 20 dignitaries, experts, and scholars from over 10 countries to participate. Tsai Ing-wen said that in the Indo-Pacific region, authoritarian forces are attempting to weaken international legal norms with gray zone tactics, infiltrating democratic systems, and international organizations through diplomatic means, and undermining the sovereignty of other countries. Because of its geostrategic location, Taiwan is at the forefront of authoritarian expansion. it has become an important democratic bastion. Tsai Ing-wen was pleased to see more democracies worldwide recognizing the stakes in the Indo-Pacific region. Last month, the leaders of the Group of Seven, G7, also stressed the importance of maintaining peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait. Maybelline, a leading American cosmetics brand, will soon close all of its physical stores in China. The news went viral in China. Maybelline is a century-old brand that entered the Chinese market in 1995. Many Chinese female consumers favored the brand because of its high quality and moderate price. It is recognized by everyone in China. Right now, the company has set up thousands of sales in hundreds of cities there. Maybelline customer service said it is uncertain when all of them will be closed. Only the counters set up in the pharmacy Watson's will stay. A Korean survey shows that more than 50% of Korean companies are planning to pull out of China. It's because many foreign investors and foreigners are fleeing China. They are fleeing due to the economic downturn, supply chain damage, and uncertainty in the Chinese market caused by the Communist Party's harsh COVID policy. Thank you so much for listening to Sound of Hope News. If you like what you saw, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. See you tomorrow.